You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips Podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Christina Finseth. Christina leads growth marketing at Interseller, a prospecting and outreach platform for recruiters and sellers. In her role, she's responsible for leading both the marketing and sales development teams. Christina is also the creator of the Outbound Fire Framework course, focused on getting you to 80% plus opens, 30% plus replies, and 10% plus booked meetings off of cold email outreach alone. Here she is.
I want to talk real quickly about email templates, and specifically standalone email templates versus what I would call a building block email template. Standalone email templates are those ones that you Google and probably everyone else Googles, something with the search terms along the lines of high performing sales email templates or email templates to bump up, my email in the inbox. And more than likely what's happening is if you found those and you are using them with zero to little modification, chances are a whole lot of other people are too. And so what ends up happening is your deliverability is already going to be impacted. And so what's really important is that you use something more along the lines, especially for an initial touch point, of a building block template. And the big difference there is there are key components of that template that change each and every time, which keeps the content fresh, makes each email seem different, and doesn't impact your deliverability in a negative way. And so let me share a quick example with you of the template that we are using here at Interseller in our outbound process. It's part of the Outbound Fire Framework. And then there's some leading teams at Gong, at Chili Piper, at HubSpot that are also using this as a similar approach as part of their kind of, I would say, tool belt, right, for outreach. So you'll notice here what's very different about this template is there are two components that shift every single time. And these aren't just like company name or first name. They're entire phrases or sentences that end up changing and keeping that content fresh. So you'll notice something like, hey, about your LinkedIn post or about your press release or something about the company or the person at the personalized level. And I'll say something like, hey, I noticed you recently posted on LinkedIn about X, that I'd reach out. Your comment Y was right on the money and I couldn't agree more. And then with that said, I'd love to get you on a quick 10 to 15 minute call to learn about you, your company, and your priorities. Would love to earn the right to talk through how Interseller might fit in. And so what you'll notice here, and what's very unique about this building block template as well, is that there is no spelling out of who the company is, what we do. There's no spelling out of a problem we solve or other companies that we're helping to solve that problem. There's no solution here. Everything is very, very centered around the person or at the company level. And so what you'll notice is it feels a little weird, right? Like, how do they know who I am? How do they know what I do? Here's an example that filled out. Hey, Daniel, I noticed you recently shared an ERE article on LinkedIn about veteran recruiting, thought I'd reach out. This article was super insightful, but this, and then here's a quote, influence hiring managers to interview veterans, ... was right on the money and I couldn't agree more. And again, that sentence about earning the right to talk through how Interseller might fit is the only place that I mention the company. And if it's interesting, what you'll notice is that they will click. And so this is something that I have been tracking for well over a year. And I started noticing trends pretty early on last year, right before COVID hit. And it's this correlation between the amount of people who click, and by click in this context, I mean they have clicked the website link in my signature block, to the amount of people who actually reply back is almost apples to apples. And so what's happening here is I'm not spelling anything out, but I'm generating curiosity enough that the prospect is going out and doing their research. They're connecting the dots. They're replying back with that context in mind. And so you're kind of turning an outbound lead into an inbound lead if there's interest. And this number, again, is almost identical. And so just to kind of take you on a journey here and how this building block template kind of helps surface that is you'll notice here I sent an email. They clicked the website after they opened. Same thing. They clicked the website a little bit later. And then here's a response from someone off of that first message that has nothing to do with my product, right? Thank you for reaching out and for your interest in my company. Interseller seems like a great platform. We're currently in a bit of a stall stage, ... And so you'll see they connected the dots by doing their own research. And there's something psychological there about being in control of deciding how you respond back to someone, kind of being in control of surfacing information, just like we would if we were buying something on Amazon and researching reviews from other folks that have purchased that product or used that product. So big takeaways here: use a building block template, not a standalone template, right? Make sure key components are changing out each time so that it stays fresh and your deliverability is higher. And then the second piece here is just remember, you don't have to spell everything out. Your prospect, if you generate curiosity, they will go and do their own research.
As you could probably hear, there's a video version of this tip where you can see the actual emails that Christina is referencing. We'll have that link, links for you to connect with Christina, and to learn more about her Outbound Fire Framework course at dailysales.tips/845. After you've clicked over there, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.